It is 1 o'clock p.m. on the East Coast. It is 10 a.m. on the West Coast. It is, I don't even know what today is anymore. It is the 18th of July in the year of our Lord, 2020. Welcome. Season 11. I got to start saying that now. Episode 1. 534 times this face and or this voice has welcomed you to the Clubhouse Podcast. We are live on vocalnow.com. Make sure you're downloading the Vocal Now app. Make sure you bookmark vocalnow.com on your favorite browser. Check out all the great stuff right here at Vocal. Season 11 is officially underway. Can't believe it. It's crazy. Welcome. My name is Rob. I am the executive producer of the Clubhouse Podcast, and I'm wearing a new t-shirt today. So you got that going for you, which is nice. We are skating at full strength today, if you can believe it, because this is what happens when everybody gets to be home, I guess. Let's start on my screen right below me. She is the lady of the house and the hardest working woman in show business. She is Jen Rome. Good morning, friend.
Hello, everyone. My niece decided to remind me that today is my half birthday. So, 6 months in and still kicking.
Hey, we got to celebrate whatever we can at this point. Below her on my screen is my co-host and a man who was not unfortunately available to be with me yesterday as I sat through a movie that we're going to talk about here in a little while. Wow. It's a movie I can't believe HDTGM has not done yet, with as obscure as they've been these last few weeks. He is also wearing his Jackie Robinson Baseballism t-shirt. He is Alex. Good morning, sir.
Good afternoon?
It's morning in half the country.
Well, it's also afternoon in half the country, and we don't want to cut anybody out. So, yes, it is actually very comfortable, and I love it. So it is going to go into the rotation.
Shout out to Baseballism if you want to sponsor the show. We're on board with that. Rounding out the dais is the official fact checker of Sooner or Gator production, and a man who right now is smoking a brisket. You may know him as Ig Bunu, but his mama named him Don Ford. I'm going to call him Don Ford. Hey, man.
Hey, I'm in the back there. Got the new, the Pit Boss, the ones that everybody talks about. I will give a full update on the next show and how it is. And see my awesome shirt. And
where did you get that shirt, Don?
You can find it at prowrestlingtees/thecheappopcast.com.
This is why we don't let him do long things.
What is it?
prowrestlingtees.com/thecheappopcast.
Well, if you put that in there, well, go
no, it won't go there.
Mute him now.
Do it.
Go to Pro Wrestling Tees. Then search the Cheap Podcast also. That's how I
It's
this
like
is why he's a fact checker and not the marketing.
Know is going to happen and not being able to do anything about it. Ooh, I just got one of my pictures liked on Instagram by the Black Moods. Shout out to them.
That's your boy.
Yes. Unfortunately, I can't deny that. All right, let's dive right in. We go to NASCAR. They had the All-Star race this week, won by Chase Elliott, attorney at law. Coming up this Sunday, as in tomorrow, we will be – oh, no, that's this weekend. For some reason, I thought it was next weekend. It is TMS weekend. So they are here in our Fairburn, Texas Motor Speedway, tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern on the NBC Sports Network. So if you have that, you can watch it there. It is the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500. That is.
I don't think that's a requirement. I'm just saying.
No. It is 334 laps around that big old track at 501 miles. For those of you who don't know, a lot of high school graduations were held at TMS this year. That's how big that place is. Like they did
a great job with that too.
Yeah, it's a monster of a facility out there. I went up there when they first opened it, and there was a back-to-back weekends music festival that Blockbuster sponsored. I might still have the bag around here somewhere, unless I think we got rid of it. Maybe we got rid of it in the garage sale, but it was Rock Fest. It was Bush was on the card, No Doubt was on the card, Matchbox 20 when they were first starting out, Collective Soul, Jewel was on the card.
And if that gives you an idea of the era where No Doubt and Bush were almost exclusively booked together.
I think this was right before they really got serious. Because this was 90.
Before the lead singers, you mean?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
This was 97. So I think this was the Genesis.
Oh, that was when No Doubt was just coming off of like some of the Sublime work they were doing.
That was before they became everything they despised.
Yeah.
Before the video for Don't Sleep became reality. But it is a huge facility. It took them 3 days to clean up after Rockfest. It was insane. And there was a pre-party the night before where and I was surprised this next band I'm going to mention, I guess they're regional because the Nixons played the night before. And Sister, which is one of my favorite songs, I was talking to a friend of the show, Heather Vogelman, and she had never heard of it. And she's as deeply rooted in music as I am. And I was utterly shocked that she did not know that song.
Yeah, I want to say maybe they were out of North Texas.
I guess they were. And also on that night before card was the reboot of 10,000 Maniacs without Natalie Merchant. And that was a thing. All right, so let's get into other sports right now. By the way, they're also racing next Thursday, the 23rd. It will be at Kansas. It's a Thursday night race, and then they'll be off next weekend. That'll be from Kansas Speedway in Kansas City. I've actually been there because I used to travel for a living, and I've stayed in a hotel that's right next to that track. And it was in the middle of summer, and you don't understand how hot things get when you stand next to a track until it's 118 coming off the speedway. And that is oh, wow, O'Reilly getting back-to-back sponsorships because that's the Superstart Batteries 400 presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. 267 laps for 400 miles. Alex had his hand up.
Quick note before we move too far off of it, the Nixons are from Oklahoma City.
Oh, there you go. It's about 3 hours right up the road. Big fan.
And that should also tell you how we try to adopt things in Texas when they're Oklahoma but good.
And,
just a little further than North Texas. Then I was close.
It's northern Texas.
Northern.
And what else do we know that I discovered in Oklahoma City that has now become a pseudo heavy rotation in our lives?
That's a pretty open-ended question.
That would be the crib, sir.
Okay, well, yes, I 100% agree, but at the same time, that could mean a lot of things.
The greatness of the rib crib and the greatness of Hideaway Pizza there in Oklahoma City. Shout out.
Cannot go with you on the Hideaway Pizza. I do not know that, so I cannot speak for.
Well, there's going to be a weekend we're gonna take a day trip, and we're gonna go up there and tour around Oklahoma City, and if for no other reason, so you can have Hideaway Pizza.
And I can't go back because earthquakes and tornadoes and things happen when I'm there, so I just don't go back.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. There's also a really great area called Bricktown up there. They have a lot of nice little restaurants and clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, sports stuff. Please step forward if you are an Atlanta Brave. Not so fast, Yasiel Puig. There was rumors early in the week that Puig would be joining my beloved Braves. Not a fan because I think he's got an attitude issue, but as Alex told me when I texted him, it does fulfill a need, and then he had a positive COVID-19 test, which then violates his agreement to join the team. So there's that.
Actually, the interesting part about that is when you think about it, anybody that signs or is acquired, they have to do a physical.
Yep.
So this was part of his physical that actually failed. And in other times, if there were somebody who was, say, ill, would never have even been caught because he is asymptomatic and feeling well. It's just the fact that the Braves are already like, okay, we already lost our all-star first baseman, and we have multiple players sitting out the season because of it. Bye.
5 days till opening day. I'm very excited for baseball. I have not been watching the scrimmages because to me, that's like preseason football. I just can't do it. Just give me games that count.
Give me games that count. I'm actually very excited for the shortened season just because I've always thought the baseball season was too long to start.
Oh, it's a slog. 162 games is a slog.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. No, it's a marathon where you have to go twice.
It's the Iron Man is what it is. I'm wondering if this could be a blueprint for the future of Major League Baseball.
I have been a firm believer of 100 games. Let them space it out. Let people be more healthy. I know that you'd have to put an asterisk if anybody comes near Cal Ripken again, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no.
But make it a nice round number. You say you have X number of teams, break it out that way because you do play series. So you do have the mini sprint and then give them a couple days off and still stretch it out through the summer where you have, less crossover. But any which way, it's, yes, season long records will never be met or exceeded again with a shorter season, but you keep your interest in the fan group.
I'm just.
What would you think
excited.
about 150?
You mean what it used to be?
150 to 162. That's not a huge jump, though. Like,
But
No,
still,
that's 3
that's a
series.
drop of water in the
That's
ocean.
me.
I don't know. I shutting it that much though. I mean, because what the seasons used to be, even like in the old days where travel wasn't that easy like it is now. You're
But
talking
all the teams were on the East Coast, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
you
still.
you also have to realize travel right now is pretty difficult too.
that is fair.
But basically, the teams have their own plane, basically. So
Not
I mean,
all of them.
Mm,
Some of them
pros?
fly commercial, sir.
The pro teams.
Yes.
Yes. Not every
Really?
team has their own plane. Not every team is the Cleveland Indians in 1989 that even had a backup plane.
Okay.
I wonder if they're pilots.
I love that movie so much. NCAA football, the Patriot League has canceled all fall sports. The MEAC has delayed. So two more leagues have had to alter their schedule come the fall. We still have not heard anything from 3 of the Power 5 conferences. The SEC had a meeting this week, them along with the Big 12, and who's the third one I can't think of right now that hasn't made a decision yet. Because the Pac-12 and the Big 10 have made this. The ACC has not made a decision yet.
But the ACC always waits on the SEC for everything anyways.
As they all should, because we are the leaders. But we're supposed to hear about that by the end of the month is the drop dead on that. NFL still saying, as of today, we are starting on the 28th with camp. So,
And they sent out notices to teams about we're starting on time.
correct.
Did you happen to see that new face mask that they're going to be trying out?
The Oakley ones? I'm on board with it. I think it looks cool.
Yeah. I'm wondering if those are the ones that J.J. Watt was having such an issue with, or if he was just referring to an actual
issue came
mask.
the day before they unveiled that. I've been following.
Right, but I didn't know if he meant a full mask in the mask, or if he meant a mask inside the helmet.
I think I was talking more inside the helmet.
Yeah.
My only thing about that mask is it's got ventilation holes, because doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose?
Yeah.
Well, they need to breathe on. It's going to be heavy breathing.
No, the mask is further off their face, Don.
Right.
So it's not going to restrict
it
them.
just covers the cage. There's a whole open part at the bottom of it.
But there's probably some kind of filter there.
Nope.
Because otherwise you would just be
No filter.
recycling, because you don't want to recycle carbon dioxide.
No,
Right,
what
but
I was,
there's no
what I'd
filter.
tell you
It's
real
literally
quick,
just
Jen, while you're
holes.
sitting here, is just Google it so you can see what it
Yeah.
looks like. There's no filter on the back of it. It's, I don't know. Like you by technical definition, you're kind of social distance because you've got at least 2 to 3 yards between you and the guy in front of you, but you've
It's
also
the
got
piles.
about 2 to 3 inches between you and the guy next to you. So there's an exchange there. I think the NFL is going to have the toughest time.
Well, I found their short-term IR very interesting as well. I don't know if you saw this news.
I did not.
Positive test for a player, you are out 3 weeks.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Give them a week to test and be asymptomatic and run the course. But at the same time, that gets really interesting if you have somebody who has a false positive and winds up missing almost a quarter of the season.
So let's
Better
go
safe
back.
than sorry.
Oh, no, I 100%
we totally
agree,
agree.
but I'm speaking from the devil's advocate side of, you have to adjust for this.
So let's go back and then go forwards a little bit. The Tournament of Roses parade was canceled normally on New Year's Day for the first time since World War II.
And you think about how far out that is.
Yeah, I mean, that's 70 years now.
Oh, no, I'm
know,
referring
80
to them canceling
80
it.
years.
But I'm just referring to them canceling something that's still 5 months away.
Yeah, but that's still considered fall sports, though. So
Oh,
that
no, I get
really
that.
doesn't surprise me. I still don't know that we have college football in the fall. I just don't. College football, to me, from a fan standpoint, has more of a margin for error than the pros because so many of your college stadiums are bleacher setups. And the logistics of trying to make people social distance when there's not even an armrest between them is an issue for me.
Especially when you think about how many college students went, oh, yeah, there's a pandemic, but spring break.
Yeah.
Or pandemic parties. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, that annoys me. That annoys me to no end. Let's talk about the NFL in a funnier story. Don, I want you to pay close attention here.
I'm listening.
There is a team in northern New York known as the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, heard of them.
They apparently not going to be getting naming rights from their current sponsor in the upcoming season. So a number of companies are bidding for naming rights to the stadium there in the city of Buffalo. I'm not going to say the great city because it's the Bills, and as a Dolphin fan, I'm programmed to hate them. Don, what would you say if a company offered $12.5 million to put the naming rights to your team stadium? Would that be a good price to pay?
For a stadium?
Mm-hmm. For naming
million?
rights. Just naming rights.
No, it's too low. For a pro team, professional, especially football team, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Consol paid $25 million just for the rights for the new arena where the Penguins play and all that stuff.
For how long?
It was like, I don't know, like 10 years, something like that. But
I think this is like a 1-year deal.
But still, 25 for 10, that's 2.5.
Right, and this is 12 and a half. That this company, who might not have not named yet for a reason.
Okay. Because what they pay for, what did AT&T pay
Don,
for?
I think you're missing the math on the fact that it's like 6 times the argument you're making, or 5 times the argument you're making.
Okay, but they're saying $12 million a year?
No, for the year.
For the year. Okay.
To my knowledge, this is a 1-year deal.
Okay, if it's 1 year, then that's something different. Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
Go ahead. Okay. Maybe, who knows? It might be okay.
So how would you feel is if you were approaching what, let's just say theoretically, this is theoretical now.
Okay.
A former Heinz Field has been renamed. You are on your way to the game. Very excited to see your Steelers play, and you pull up to Tushy Stadium. Tushy, the bidet company, has offered $12.5 million to Buffalo to have their name put on that stadium, which to me, it's a toilet, it's Buffalo, it worked. But that's just me. Now, that is good enough. But wait, there's more. In this $12.5 million deal, Alex says it's 2 years, so $6.75 million a year. Or 6.25, I'm sorry. They want to host a college football game in that stadium.
In Buffalo.
Yep, and call it the Toilet Bowl.
The what bowl?
The Toilet Bowl. I'm in. I'm all in.
I actually do have this title, Official Restroom Inspector. I support this message.
They want to put the bidets all in the stadium, which I'm totally on board with.
Because buffalo wings?
Well, and plus Buffalo in December and people not knowing how to use bidets.
You mean the bidets?
Bill's Mafia just slipping and sliding all over the place because the floor is frozen. Come on!
So
they
wait,
just start writing Tushy on the tables as they go through them.
We're going to go to a football game and a hockey game's going to break out in the bathroom?
I fully endorse this on every level. Every level. Get the deal done. Because it's not the most Bills Mafia thing that's ever been done in that city. These are the people that try to do wrestling moves and they tailgate in the middle of December and drop each other through flaming tables. This is on par. This is on brand.
To be fair, they are the fans that are only hurting themselves, though, so that's on them. It's not like the Oakland, San Francisco, where they hurt other people.
That's natural selection. That's all I've got for sports. If you want to talk about the Washington Football Club, you can go research that on your own. That is not something that we're willing to get into on this show just yet because, if for no other reason, what's going on out there doesn't really align well with the values of what this show brings. We want to bring you happiness and joy, and we don't want to dwell too much on the darkness. But if you want to go read the Washington Post article, it's out there. Everything that's going on in our nation's capital from that standpoint. Alex has his hand up.
You know what? I'm going to go out of my way, and I'm going to do a new thing where I'm going to try and find a positive story to put a bow on situations, especially when we're wrapping up after like things like Tushy. Daniel Bard, the former top pitching prospect for the Red Sox at their peak, has been out of baseball for 7 years after getting hurt, getting cut, and basically was doing nothing. After 7 years, has made a Major League Baseball club.
Oh.
He got back on a mound in January, and he was like, I'm throwing in the mid-90s. Maybe I'll give this another shot. He has made the Colorado Rockies.
Mazel tov to him.
Yeah, at 35, he had been out since he was 28 because of issues.
I mean, I think I'm bringing heat in about the mid-60s. I think I could go for this.
I would be willing to bet I could top 80. I really believe I could top 80.
I feel like you and I need to go to one of these places that have the radar gun just to see and try not to throw my shoulder out of socket.
I'd be more worried about my elbow.
I'll bring the ice packs.
Bring the tub.
I did find a place. I did find a place up on the north side
with the little motor on the end. They have to start. You remember from bringing up that movie?
What I think,
and we've gone full circle thanks to Don.
I've been really considering a lot lately of us taking a show field trip with a Facebook Live to one of these axe throwing places.
Oh, I am so on board for that.
Yes.
There's a handful of them within a stone's throw of this house. There's one.
Everything is a stone's throw from your new house.
That's also fair. There's one at Music City Mall. Shout out Music City Mall. Going to be seeing you guys on Tuesday. There's one over on the north side in Plano that's called a gaming bistro that has it. I think they have leagues and stuff.
Interesting.
That would frighten me. An axe throwing league, beer league softball scares me enough. An axe throwing league, no, thank you.
I live on the wrong side of the world.
You think giving me an axe to throw is a good idea?
I didn't say we'd be present.
Okay.
I also didn't say all of us would be throwing axes. Some of us might have mallets. I'm just saying, but it's very possible. Let's get into some TV talk. Big news out of ABC this week. Tom Bergeron and Aaron Andrews out on Dancing with the Stars.
That's
not
still
of
going?
Their own choice. Well, whatever the next season will be. But
I'm surprised that show's still going.
Oh, it's had 140 seasons by now.
I know, but they haven't had stars on it for 120.
Well, but they still get ratings. And they may not be stars to us. They're stars to somebody.
Fair enough.
But they're being replaced by Tyra Banks. Don, you really have to... Okay, now he walked away. Tyra Banks will be hosting that show in its next season.
And somehow I'm less interested.
So Tyra Banks still getting work. God bless her. One of my... I can't remember if my wife watched this show. I think she did. Hosting one of my SNL crushes in Casey Wilson, a show called Happy Endings that was on ABC for a couple of seasons. They're going to be reuniting for a script reading tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern on the Sony Pictures Television YouTube page. This seems to be the thing right now. Don, you got to remember to mute your phone when you walk away. Oh, he doesn't have his ears back in yet. This seems to be the thing where casts are reuniting and doing table reads, which I think is great. 30 Rock just did one a couple of weeks ago that apparently not everybody carried. There's been some issue with the way their streaming service Peacock is rolling out that some people were not carrying the 30 Rock reunion, which I thought was interesting. Don, you got to remember to mute your phone before you walk away.
I did hit mute. I did.
No, you
I just
didn't,
unmuted
it.
This is my neighbor. Sorry about that.
So they'll be raising money for Color of Change and Jose Andres World Central Kitchen. So if you were a fan of the show Happy Endings, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern on the Sony Pictures Television YouTube page, that will be a thing. Amazon has renewed Hannah for season 3. I have heard very good things about this show. I used to actually have a DVD of the movie and didn't know what it was, never watched it, and got rid of it. So amongst the few things I regret in this life, selling off my Clone Wars animated DVDs that are now worth a lot more than they should have been. But I've heard really good
Clone
things
Wars
about
is amazing.
I know. It was a dark time. CBS does not have Survivor on the fall schedule because of COVID-19 concerns and the filming, which makes sense. And plus, Jeff Probst can take a break.
Once in a while.
Dude in this show. But you know what? He hosted one of my favorite shows ever. VH1 used to take two of my favorite things and combine them. I don't know if you guys remember this. but it was called Rock and Roll Jeopardy.
Oh, I do remember this.
And Probst was the host of that show.
I didn't remember he was the host.
Mm-hmm. And it was really funny because the time it came out, my brother Ken and I were roommates. And they were doing a marathon one day. And my brother, he's also a DJ. That's how we met. But he was like, hey, man, let's just sit down and play. And I was like, okay. And after about the third episode where I'm just mopping the floor with him, he's like, yeah, I'm done. But the thing about that show was you didn't get money. If you hit a certain level in Final Jeopardy, like if you passed a certain dollar amount, you got like a brand new Toyota 4Runner that had the top 100 albums of all time loaded into a changer because they didn't have MP3 players back then.
The big changer in the back.
Yes,
Something
sir.
people will never understand. It's like, man, I'm sick of this. Oh, I got a new CD. Let me pull over and go to the back of the car.
Those are such a pain to keep, like, to get the CD in the right way.
And you hit just one bump and every CD is thrown off.
Brother, you ain't lying. You ain't lying even a little bit. Also, if you guys have not seen it, Alex Trebek currently sporting what could be one of the greatest goatees in the history of man. Google this.
He looks jacked too.
Yeah, I mean, Trebek's bringing.
I'm happy
funk,
for him,
dude. And by the way, in case you, speaking of Trebek, starting Monday for the next 4 weeks, because normally this is the time of year when Jeopardy goes into hiatus, and so they just replay all their tournaments. What they're doing instead is they're picking the, I guess, 20 greatest episodes of Jeopardy and rerunning them, starting on Monday with the very first Jeopardy episode Trebek ever hosted. So if you want to go back and see Alex Trebek Circus 1986, it's pretty epic. I'm not gonna
how much would it blow your wheels off if somewhere right in the middle they just fit in a Celebrity Jeopardy?
An SNL Celebrity Jeopardy?
Exactly.
With Sean Connery.
All of them.
I discovered on Netflix The Chase, which is
The
kind of
LeBron
similar,
James show. He produces that show.
I guess, and it's an older repeats. But on the one I watched the other day, they had one of the ladies from The Runaways on it.
Oh, that's a great show.
She's really good at bar trivia. Not so good at this one.
No, it's called.
I got what, one season a couple of years ago?
That's a different Chase that I'm thinking of, because I've had other people tell me I should go on that show.
I don't know if it's still running or not. It came over from the UK.
Oh, that. Okay, sorry. I'm thinking, when he said LeBron, I was thinking of that one.
That's what I was
made it
thinking
for
when
a
she
season.
said The Chase.
Yeah,
LeBron James produces a show called The Chase where people are literally being chased.
yeah, by FBI
This
profilers. And
this is kind of almost like Weakest Link and Jeopardy kind of meet up kind of show.
this was
My
one of those
in-laws said
Beast
something about
shows, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Beast is on it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Disney Plus. Big announcement from them this week. A brand new Star Wars animated series is coming your way called The Bad Batch. This is about a group of clone troopers that, of course, were not up to snuff. It takes place right after Clone Wars.
No, sir.
It takes place right after Clone Wars, sir.
But it's not that they're up to snuff. They are great. They are greatness. Sorry, I apologize. Let me fill in from Clone Wars. They are the clones that didn't come out clean, so they're all
That's what
flawed.
I'm saying. They were not up to the Empire's snuff.
Okay. I thought you were referring to their abilities.
And one of two things needs to happen right now. On the left side of my screen right now, there's this big semicircular shadow on your camera. So I need you to move it towards the wall or move something off the side of your camera. There you go. But no, that's what I'm saying. These are basically rejects for the Empire, which means they could probably actually hit things. I don't know. But this is a group. They're getting their own animated series, but we don't have a release date yet, to my knowledge.
They have only said 2021.
Which is
but I will say I am beyond excited for this because The Bad Batch is arguably one of, if not my favorite arc from the entirety of Clone Wars.
Which I still think it's hilarious that there's enough episodes that if you put it in there with commercials, it works out to right at 66 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's amazing. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but I'm giving it to them. From the Rachel Wimberly department, The Hallmark Channel has renewed Good Witch for season 7. So,
Yay. I watched that too.
when I think of Hallmark, I think of Rachel.
Well, when I think of happy and joyful and Rangers, I think of Rachel. Oh, and Whataburger.
Yes. She is one of my favorite humans in the world. HBO is rebooting In Treatment. If you remember this show from a few years ago where Gabriel Byrne was a psychologist. He might have been a psychiatrist. I can't remember which one. But it was a good series for them. They're going to reboot it, but there's been no casting news as of yet. We talked about Peacock a little while ago. That dropped this week, unless you have a Roku or an Amazon Fire Stick, just like HBO Max for some reason. They have stated this week that their late night talk shows are actually going to stream earlier than the broadcast time on Peacock for people that don't want to stay up that late, which I think is kind of a good idea.
Agreed.
Because some people will sit in that 11:35 Eastern time slot. When I start working again, I'm not one of those guys. But I'm also not a late night talk show guy at this point. Once Letterman called it a day, I was kind of done.
I honestly, after Letterman did his top 10, I was done.
I always loved watching Dave. And then you had, God, why have I lost his name? The guy that used to be on the Drew Carey show.
I was about to say Leno, but then you shifted. Ferguson.
Ferguson.
Yes.
Craig Ferguson.
Craig Ferguson. I used to love his show a lot, too. I like the person who originally had that shot, which was Craig Kilborn. That when he was on that show. The problem was
he wasn't very dynamic.
But he didn't have to be. Like, he knew where his bit was, and he stayed in that lane, and I just thought it was hilarious. Let's see here. Netflix is apparently inheriting a show from the Paramount Network called Emily in Paris. That next season will move to Netflix. And in what could be, Alex was rubbing his hands earlier when we talked about the Bad Batch. I am for this next story. There is a Japanese comic series called Usagi Yojimbo, which is a samurai story, but it's all animals. And Usagi is a rabbit. He's a rabbit samurai. Netflix is turning this into an animated series, and I could not be more excited. Go check it out. It's a really well done series, very smart, very well written. And then I'm hoping Netflix does a good job with it.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at just Usagi Yojimbo #1. I'm in.
It's a great series.
Do I have the ability to share this? No, I do not. But it is so
Advanced
amazing.
Sharing options. All participants. Okay, go ahead, Alex.
All right, and
it's the miracle of Zoom. Alex Barnhill has started screen sharing. Yep, there you go.
I cannot wrap my mind around the fact that I have never seen a rabbit where I'm like, that just looks BA. I mean,
it's awesome. It's a great series, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Netflix does with it. As we move on, Showtime announcing this week they have canceled the Jim Carrey series Kidding after 2 seasons.
I've tried 2 episodes of that, and that it was like, no.
And Show Beyond, which is their channel that highlights African American filmmakers, it is being rebranded as I guess now the letter X is replacing the word featuring, or as a crossover, I guess, because it's Show XBET. I've seen that a lot lately with music, where it's like person X person.
Yeah, I've seen that with branding as well.
Yeah,
where they're just trying to show like, hey, both are involved. Guess that means I'm gonna have to make a call into a family friend down in Florida and see what we can get out of that.
From the Devin Pike department. The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs has been renewed for season 3. So fans of Joe Bob Briggs rejoice. That'll be on Shudder, as it has been for the last 2 seasons. And from the USA, Briar Patch, which has been a pretty big deal for them. They've canceled that after 1 season. But I kind of thought that was a self-contained story anyway, but I could be wrong. That had the Rosario Dawson in it. And the Chucky series is going to air both on USA and Sci-Fi. It's going to be on both. They apparently released, this is the virtual Comic-Con weekend, and they have apparently released a a teaser trailer for that.
Yeah, I saw it. No, hard pass.
The hard pass?
Hard pass. And I'm not like, oh, it's horror hard pass, as some are. This is more along the lines of no.
No, why is it just, you say the movies or what? Or you
So this is a TV
series?
series, Don.
Oh, real? Okay.
That's why we're in
All
TV
right.
talk.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm kind of interested. I like Chucky. But who knows? It could be a bomb.
Well, the problem you have with this one is similar to the problem you have with The Purge, where it's like, oh, we're going to put it on USA. It's like, so let me get this straight. We're supposed to imply murder and horror versus actually have murder and horror. Got it.
Oh, they don't imply on that. I saw the USA thing, and there's some scenes that it's cable, put it that way. So
maybe I'm just a sick person, and I was like, that was way too dull.
Yeah.
TV on DVD and Blu-ray this week. Season 2 of Castle Rock will be available to you on Tuesday if you want to grab a hold of that. Also, Season 10 of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Never watched an episode. And the complete series, if you are an old school person, the complete series for Northern Exposure will be available on Tuesday if you would like to own it. I had the soundtrack. I had to buy it for a wedding I was DJing back in the day because it had Etta James's At Last on it.
Great song.
Only one music headline this week. The American Music Awards have been revealed. They will be on ABC Sunday, November 22nd. That's going to be a 3-hour extravaganza of a bunch of artists and music I've never heard.
Cricket chirps.
I'm trying. There they go.
Yep.
Music new releases this week. Logic has a brand new album coming next Friday called No Pressure. Neon Trees is back with I Can Feel You Forgetting Me. That's got to be an uplifting track. And Ronan Keating is back with 2020 in spelled out, not numerically. So if you have to look for it that way. Let's get into some movie talk real quick. We said it earlier. We'll say it again. Looks like Tenet has been delayed again. And we do have a runtime. It's just at 2.5 hours.
Is it bad that that's shorter than I was expecting?
You and me both, because it's Christopher Nolan. Speaking of plugs for Christopher Nolan, it is no lie, NOLY, because Nolan July from our friends over at Matinee Heroes. This week's episode that dropped this morning, I just started listening to it, is for Dunkirk. And they also did a Patreon exclusive for Memento, which is still, I haven't watched it lately, but I have no doubt that film holds up. If you have not seen Memento, I will tell you this, like, Memento is not one of those films that you just put on and do other things. Like, you have to be focused because the entire story is told backwards.
Mm-hmm. Although they shot it in order and then cut it backwards, did they not?
I can neither confirm nor deny that. Don, have you seen Memento?
Yeah, and it has, where he guy loses his mind, keep the amnesia thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah.
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Yeah,
and
the guy from The Matrix or whatever, his buddy who. Okay, let me check out Memento and see how they did
Pierce.
that. Okay.
I will be on Matinee Heroes coming up either next month or the month after. I don't know if they've revealed the film yet, so I can't talk about it yet. I'm also going to be helping out another show in September with a movie I haven't watched in probably 30 years, and I had to go searching for this week, so I'm very excited about that. This week's cast-off was very interesting. Independence Day, Valerie won, so she'll be taking on the guy that beat me last week. This week's cast-off is going to be really interesting because they're doing The Princess Bride. So I'll be watching that Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central, I believe. It's on Twitch and YouTube. Craig does a great job with that. I want to make sure that we plug his stuff as well. Did you guys? I don't know how many people this would apply to generationally. I was a little bit past, this was a little bit after me. But did any of you guys ever watch the PBS series Wishbone?
Periodically. It came on right as I was getting out of that time frame.
So this was it was a PBS series about a dog.
A Jack Russell Terrier.
Who was basically parts of very important moments in literary history.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were retelling of stories using the dog as the characters.
Yes.
You're getting a movie. There is a movie in the works.
No.
I think they're a little late on this.
Yes. If they wanted to reboot it and bring back Wishbone as a show for streaming, I could understand that. As a movie, that's too much.
I'm still waiting for the Bloodhound Gang, the movie. Thank you very much. And not the musical group.
And
Okay, I only know of the musical group.
So they got their name from, okay, so you know I got my Cowboy Bebop t-shirt on.
Uh-huh.
Remember I showed you the other t-shirt I got?
Uh-huh.
That's a mashup of Cowboy Bebop and 321 Contact.
Okay.
So 321 Contact had little mini shows within their shows. And one of them was called the Bloodhound Gang. And they were 3 kids who were detectives. And that's where the band got their name from.
Did not know that.
But they used science to solve the issue.
Whenever there's trouble, we're there on the double. We're the Bloodhound Gang. If you got the crime, we got the time. We're the Bloodhound Gang.
That's the show where I learned Roy G. Biv and about the ultraviolet.
So then, General, you'll understand this. One of the other T-shirt I've got, the opening lyrics for the Cowboy Bebop theme are 3, 2, 1, let's jam. And it's the 321 Contact logo, and it says "Let's Jam" at the bottom.
Oh, sweet!
I know.
That's awesome.
So I was very excited that came in. That this came in as well this week, and then my shirt for Ragnarok showed up the week after Ragnarok. So there was that. No Time to Die has been pushed back again. Now we're talking summer 2021.
That is in talks currently. They were saying that if it was this year, they were actually going to move it up to the 20th. Now they're in talks to move it to 2021 in the summer.
I have waited way too long for this film. Let's go. That's all I'm saying. Let's go. I don't know how to take this next headline. Lionsgate is talking to someone about a movie, and they have given the subject matter, but not the details. And this person will not only produce the film, they will star in this film. I don't know if you guys have heard this story this week. It is a movie about dancing, and it will produce and star one Jennifer Grey. I don't know how I
could
feel
make
about
the
this.
sound of the air coming out of a balloon, that would probably be it for me.
Okay, I'm not even excited about that, and I'm a huge Dirty Dancing fan.
She does have hungry eyes. We all know that. But first of all,
I think his wife had hungry eyes, but they used the song in the movie.
I don't know. It's still Eric Carmen and he's greatness. Here is the plus side of the category for me. Number one, Dirty Dancing, great film. Watch the Movies That Made Us episode about this. Those two, it took them a while to get along.
Yeah.
And there is filmed evidence of them snapping at each other in early screen tests. Curse words being thrown around in the whole nine.
And watch Red Dawn, the original.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah,
that's where their
tension.
animosity comes from, was when they were doing Red Dawn.
Yeah.
Or came from. They got past it. Secondly, have you seen Jennifer Grey recently?
I know you haven't seen her nose.
Well, we're getting there.
The last time I saw her was the lip sync contest when her husband was on it.
Okay, so I saw her last week.
Okay.
Because the season finale of Reunited Apart with Josh Gad was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She looks amazing still. 3, she's married to Coulson. Shout out to Asian Coulson. If this is not a Dirty Dancing sequel, I think I will be more comfortable because we've already done that. It was called Havana Nights and it made about $19 worldwide. How dare you?
And they called it a sequel.
Don, give me the box office numbers on Dirty Dancing Havana Nights, please.
It's going to be over $19. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but not by much.
They called it a sequel, but really it was let's try and shake things up a little and give you the same movie.
Well,
and it didn't
first
work.
off, before I get to that, Memento, it was filmed at different times depending on the actors.
Okay, so it wasn't filmed sequentially.
No,
Okay.
not 100%, because like there were scenes with certain actors who were only there for a couple days. They do their bits, come back, whatever. Okay.
Which is about to snap. Look up the box office numbers on Dirty
I already got it.
Havana Nights.
What?
It made a profit, sir.
What was the budget? $12?
$25 million.
So what did it make? 26?
27.
Okay, that's actually not a profit. That's not a profit.
It's over the budget.
You have to use the rule of 50.
No, you don't.
Yes,
Not on
you
something
do.
like this.
If the budget, that's
That's
the
just the
production
US.
budget. That's not the marketing. That's not everything else.
That's
So there's
just
no way
the
that movie.
US. That's
If it
just
made
the
$2 million
US.
over its production
Rob,
budget, then it
I would
would
still say
fine.
that's more than $19.
Rob, that's still just the US.
Okay,
not
what's the worldwide?
I'm looking on that. Okay, I'm trying to get it.
Go to Box Office Mojo
Okay, I'll go to Box Office Mojo.
because they'll break it down for you.
Okay. Oh, another
Also,
thing
how
about-
have we not tried to make our own movie to be the #1 movie in the world at one point? Just to throw something together.
But you saw what your top 2 box office winners for last weekend were.
Wasn't it Empire?
No, it was Jaws and Jurassic Park.
Deservedly so.
So Spielberg, Kid with a Dream.
And I will say, since we're talking about getting together and making our own movie there, my 1 year of us seeing Peanut Butter Falcon popped up. So I may have to watch that one again this weekend.
Very much enjoyed that film.
Okay, all right.
I don't know if my
all
heart
right,
can take it.
All right. Here's the deal, and I'm corrected. The worldwide, 27,685,000 worldwide.
So what was the
according to-
domestic? Give me the domestic.
14.
There you go.
14.1. International 13.5.
$14 million on a
And here's
$25
another-
movie.
That's significantly more than $19.
And
though.
I want to bring up another fact which I read this week about Dirty Dancing. That lake, it actually dried up, but
Yep.
now it's actually starting to come back
Mhm.
again. It's
Yep.
about a third full, but it actually, the whole lake was gone at that resort. It was
Yeah.
gone. It was just
Yep.
a field.
Yep.
But now it's back.
That's in the movies that made us. They
Yeah,
talked
again.
Yeah.
And
But it's a third full. It's
when
it's natural
23
cleaning.
million of your 27 million is their family and friends of the cast and crew. I'm just saying.
Well, no, you also have preteen girls that went to see it because it was
Why?
dancing and
Oh, okay.
You mean their mother's dragging them to it?
No, because
Not
Havana
necessarily.
Nights was aimed at a younger demographic.
Right, but
Yeah.
at the same time, who's taking those youngers? Going, oh, it's Dirty Dancing in some form. Let's go.
No, no,
their
no, no, no.
parents dropping
version.
them off at the mall.
this is girls who want to become like prima ballerinas and things into their dance or drill team that wanted to go see it because it was a dancing movie.
And just for the record, Dirty Dancing the musical is amazing. If you haven't seen it, when life gets back to normal, Don and I will agree on that. The technology, the way they use it in that musical is amazing.
And to me, the movie already was a musical. So
Well, and that's the other thing is they didn't actually sing the songs. They used the actual songs, and they also used, what was it, Don, about 12 other songs that they couldn't get the rights to in time for the movie that they wanted to include.
But my thing is, it was too fast moving, and they had a lot of scenes which were like just 20 seconds long. See you later, bye. Yeah.
Yeah, Don,
Sorry.
didn't see it.
Yeah, but it was.
But remember, Don, it
go
has
back to
one of
review.
It has one of the greatest scenes we've ever seen in a musical, too. Remember in the
What
very
is it?
beginning? So in the very beginning, it takes place at the resort where they're having dinner. And there's a family off to audience left that's away from everybody else. And the waiter walks over, and the father of the family says, "Hey, waiter, there's something wrong with my soup."
Oh, yeah.
And the waiter says, "What's wrong with the soup?" And the father says, "Try the soup." And the
Did
waiter
they
says,
rip off Coming to America?
Yeah,
This is not worth it.
I was in the middle of the story, going to tell you the payoff, and
It's
the
not.
hell with me. Okay, movies on DVD and Blu-ray this week. Good Lord, man! Is this your first show? Do you know how this works?
Yeah, but when it's bad, it needs to get cut off.
No, because there's a payoff to it, and they do the aha and everything else.
And did I say what that was?
You gave the payoff because you gave away the source material.
Which wasn't going to be worth it.
It was fully worth it. Thank you very much. Because it was my story, and I have worth.
I agree to that part.
Can I say how much I've missed all of you and being
Good
in like
Lord.
a family environment? Just saying.
Movies on DVD and Blu-ray this week, a documentary called You Don't Know Me. Nomi is spelled Nomi. This is what looks like to be a very interesting documentary about the making of and fallout from Showgirls. Watch the trailer for this. And speaking of Showgirls, I think last night they did the script reading for it, Devin and some people, and they got Buckaroo Banzai coming up. Resistance, this had, I just lost who's in this. Oh, shoot. Hold on.
This is the Jesse Eisenberg movie.
Yes, you are correct, sir. World War II, I believe.
Yes.
That is available this week. Also, Survive the Night with Bruce Willis. This is... Bruce Willis is a guy who's visiting with his son-in-law who's a doctor, and there's a home invasion, and one of the guys that's part of the home invasion is injured, so they force the son-in-law to fix him, but they're not going to let them go afterwards. And then they found out that Bruce Willis's character is kind of a badass, and here we go. And then Criterion Collection this week, a movie called Taste of Cherry and the very highly lauded from last year Marriage Story, both getting the Criterion Collection treatment this week. Let's do some tech talk. We talked about Peacock. It did drop on Wednesday, but they're already talking about shows that aren't going to be there after the end of the month. I think the Matrix trilogy is going away and something else. And I was like, why would you even pitch that? You just started. But there are two. There's a free version that has limited commercials. I'm told no more than 5 minutes per hour of viewing for the commercial version. And then the premium version is, I think, $10 a month, and you get everything commercial free. My question, though, is since it's technically a streaming service for a network, and I haven't dug it deep enough into CBS All Access, and maybe you guys can answer this for me. If I punch up a movie on something like Peacock, am I going to get the theatrical cut, or is it going to be the version made for TV?
I haven't run into this. That's an interesting question.
Because I was thinking about that a lot this morning.
Most of the movies I've had that I've looked at that are on my CBS All Access didn't need to be edited for TV.
Yeah, because CBS All Access is mostly just the
TV shows.
Yeah, TV shows or things of its ilk that could be TV shows like Picard. Yeah. I've heard there's some language in Picard, though. I haven't watched it yet.
Well, but I mean, even in regular CBS shows and ABC and NBC, I'm starting to hear language.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, a lot of the boundaries are just not there anymore because it's, to get the audience, we've got to have this stuff and compete with everybody else. So monitor your own kids.
Alex, are you following up on that?
I'm looking into Peacock directly.
Yes, I just know that look you have when you're focused on something, and that's kind of, so I just want to make sure that's what you were doing. So that way I know that you're working on it so that we don't have everybody looking at the same time. But again, not available yet on Amazon Fire TV or Roku. I think they're running into the same issues that HBO Max is running into. Hopefully we can get that worked out because HBO Now, which is what HBO Max will become, or will become HBO Max, that runs out at the end of this month. So let's get on that because I got a Roku in the other room and I want to be able to watch my HBO Max, not just in the living room. So, interesting toy news this week. A brand new Transformer has been unveiled. Alex, I don't know if you saw this. It is an Autobot that is a plane. And his name is Maverick. This is an F-14 that when you transform it, instead of a robot head, it is the flight helmet of Maverick from Top Gun.
I want to be disappointed in that, but that just sounds awesome.
It looks kind of cheesy. I'm not going to lie. I've seen it.
Well, but are they doing it because the movie was supposed to be coming?
Well, it's still coming in December. They haven't moved it yet.
Supposedly.
Well, I'm just saying right now it's set for December. It was moved. It was supposed to be June. It was moved to December. Paramount's kind of holding on to this thing, and this may have to be a direct VOD if they're still going to hold to that date, because I'm now seeing some projections that are saying movie theaters may be shut down till at a minimum next summer. Even though AMC is saying they're opening this month, there ain't that much of this month left.
Well,
so let's either get on the bike and ride or make a new announcement.
Yeah, and there's not that many people. I mean, there's enough, but there's not enough at the same time to make a go of it that are willing to be in a theater.
I talked to a friend of Ragnarok, friend of the show, Scott Jackson, was there. And he's actually been to the movies a couple of times. And he said the couple of times that he went, it was actually a really good experience. Everybody was behaving themselves. But I have to think of it from a business standpoint. I mean, you have to sell X amount of seats to at least break even. And if you're going to remove a third of the seats from your theater, that could pose a problem. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Real quick.
Yes, sir.
Peacock is saying that their movies are uncensored is a weird term here, but I think they mean unedited.
Okay.
So it is the straight Universal library. So,
okay. Fair enough. So if you want to watch the Tom Cruise Mummy, you have that ability now. Which I enjoyed the film. I enjoyed that film very much.
Really?
I did. I enjoyed it. And
really
I like what they were
hated
setting up.
That has the record of your watch, the watch gauge.
Yeah.
If I remember right, it was over an hour 50.
I think he's right. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that film. I loved what they were setting up. I was looking forward to where it was going to go from there. And then Universal freaked out.
Well, it didn't do well for how much money they put into it. That's their balance.
But I think a lot of that was media anti-hype. Because again, I thought that was an enjoyable film. I did not, it was better than The Art of War. It was better than the last version of Fantastic Four.
I'd be very intrigued to see if we ever get the original director cut of that. Because I don't know if you heard that story about the Mummy.
Of Mummy or Fantastic Four?
Of the Mummy.
I didn't know that there was a different cut. I know Fantastic Four was a Josh Trank. That's what kind of sunk him in Hollywood because he went off on
the studio. Yeah. Apparently, in the Mummy, it was originally going to follow the Mummy a lot more and a lot less Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise fired people because he had that kind of control and had it recut to focus on his character more, allegedly.
Because he's the Mummy. The last 10 minutes. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, haven't seen it yet. Thanks.
Don't worry, you're not missing anything in that regard. It's pretty well.
Visually, it's gorgeous. I like what
I enjoyed it. I was just surprised you liked it.
We're past the point of spoiler alert on that film. I was about
that is also fair.
If you haven't watched it yet, then you don't have a sense of urgency for it, so I'm not real worried about it.
But I still have to pick on you. You're kind of like my big brother.
But that also means I'm allowed to return fire.
Yes, and I embrace it.
Alex, are you a Call of Duty guy or no?
I appreciate Call of Duty. I've been a fan of their stories, but the multiplayer that's AJ though. He'll play that all day, every day.
Well, apparently, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Don.
I just want on the Mummy, since we're still there, real fast. You're saying how it did box office. It did 80 domestic, 329 international, 409 worldwide, budget 125.
So
but that one had so much advertising. Yeah. I would have said you'd double it.
But I think that domestically, I think is what Universal was focused on.
Also,
a movie like that is always going to do well internationally, just because of the appeal of that type of film.
Still, it made a bundle.
It did all right worldwide.
And remember, they had every bit of that universe cast out already.
Yep, it was going to work up to like an Avengers type finale, and
which I was kind of intrigued to see how I was laughing, joking with Sean, and she didn't get this, but please tell me if you did. I was like, is this building to a new Monster Squad?
I love I was about to say Monster Squad because I love that movie.
I love Monster Squad, but that would be just such an off-the-rails way to bring it all together.
Oh, so in the beginning of the show, because this kind of ties into Tech Talks, let me finish this and then we'll go back. The Call of Duty Championship League is going to kick off August 19th and run through August 30th. So I don't know if AJ would have any interest in that.
I would be intrigued by that as well, based on my background in Halo competitions. But
so at the beginning of the show, I mentioned that I watched something this week that my originally intent was to watch with Alex, but things have kind of gone off the rails. And I'm here to tell you I did watch yesterday during the afternoon, Alex. I watched Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
The sequel?
Yes.
And?
The sound field is far superior to the first one.
That's just a technological advancement, though, but yes.
It's still as bad as you remember it.
I don't know if it is as bad as I remember.
It doesn't clear an hour and a half, and it feels like 3. Yeah. It's so slow and so bad. Apparently, there was supposed to be a third one.
Yep.
And Lambert was going to come back, and Bridget Wilson was going to come back, and then apparently Hurricane Katrina destroyed all the sets.
Ouch.
Yeah. That's God saying, no, don't make this movie. You don't get to make another one of these.
There's just the thumb that just comes out and goes, no.
Well, and I also read in the trivia about especially the Sub-Zero Scorpion fight.
Yeah.
The reason it looks so different from everything else is because Robin Shaw was starring and producing and doing all the fight choreography, and he couldn't be there for that one. So that's why the choreography looks so different.
And it's not really a fight as much as Flippy do.
And James Raymar, I love you.
Is it pronounced Raymar?
I think it is Raymar.
Oh, I've always been pronouncing it wrong then.
He's not here. I don't think he cares.
But I want to give him that respect because I do enjoy his work.
His Raiden was rough.
Oh,
bad.
Raiden with a southern accent's probably an issue.
And when I watched, the only things on the Blu-ray besides the movie are the trailer and the trailer for the video game that came out in 2011, I believe.
Okay.
Which is the same trailer that's on the first one.
You know what really bothered me in that regard, though? Do you remember who the voice of Shao Kahn was at the end of the first movie?
I do not.
That was the greatness of Frank Welker.
I've been watching a lot of Animaniacs lately.
And then they replaced it with that guy. He is that guy in everything. Discount Kurgan.
It's so bad. It's so bad. How HDTGM did the first one and not the second one is beyond me.
I want to say they talked about it. They said that we don't hate ourselves enough or something along those lines.
Given what they've been doing lately.
Yeah.
Like they did some obscure Canadian film that there's like 25 of 2 weeks ago. And the one this week, I was like, I don't care that it's the boyfriend from Family Ties that's in this. You've got other stuff in the can that you can release that I want to listen to. Lego news this week that I am very excited about. So, Don, what was the first video game system you ever owned?
Atari 2600.
Okay. Genro?
It was a TI, and then we had an Atari. We had a TI computer and then an Atari one.
Alex?
I know where this is going, but it is also an accurate statement. The original NES.
So Lego makes an announcement this week. Alex, you want to pull this up and share it with everybody?
Working on it. Oh, I figured you were going to keep going, and then I would.
No,
just pop it up.
I'm just trying to figure out. Do we want to just? I want to see if we can play the video.
Oh, you. Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to do that.
Go. Let's just experiment with it. That's what this show does. We just throw stuff at the wall.
All right.
Pull it up on YouTube.
Myself.
Yeah, pull it up on YouTube and then see if you can share you should be able to share your screen and play it. We'll see. Lego has announced this week, and until you see this, you really can't fathom this. Your price point is $230, which sounds a little steep. But when you see what this is, Alex, you ready? You have to unmute yourself, brother.
Waiting for your cue.
Go for it. I'm filling time. All right, Alex has started the screen share. Hit it. Okay, so we're not getting the audio. Look at you just let it play. People can see it. Look at this thing. This is a Lego NES that looks at least 50% scale, if not more. Also comes with a TV that you put together. You plug the controller in. You can even, I love that. You can put the cartridge in there. That doesn't really matter, but on the side of the TV, there's a crank, and you're actually watching Mario play the game. Now, if that's not enough, you have the starter kit for Super Mario Brothers. The Super Mario Brothers starter course. Take Mario, put him into the top of the TV, and it plays the theme music while you're cranking the TV. How insane is that? That is amazing. Look at that. Look how glorious that looks.
I know two people that are probably going to buy it as soon as possible.
This drops August the 1st, I believe. And that is everything that you saw in that picture, the TV and the system and the controller. I actually sent this YouTube link to my brother-in-law because my niece is a Lego genius, and I think this is amazing. Don, what's your thoughts on that?
I haven't been a big game fan because they kept on making new ones, and you did like the PlayStation 1, and by the time 3 comes out, everything is obsolete. You have to rebuy everything. This one, I might be interested in finally getting a game system. I don't know.
It's not a game system, Don. It's a Lego kit.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, I'm possibly game.
I think this thing looks – this is one of the coolest things I think they've ever done. Alex is screen sharing again. There it is. $230 coming soon on August 1st. I don't know. I don't think we can see it. Alex, do you think that the cartridge you build, or does the cartridge already come assembled?
It appears that the cartridge is already built. Or, I mean, that you build the cartridge. Okay. If I can zoom in on this real quick, you can kind of see where there's some layers. Where the bricks
divide, yeah.
Yeah. That's
amazing.
Yeah, so let's see if we have anything like what I find most interesting is this build out of the world.
Yeah,
is that on a rotating platform
around inside the TV. That is amazing.
Oh my god, that looks like the original box too.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, look at the third picture from the left on the bottom. It almost looks like go back to the box. Go back to the box.
Okay. On it.
On the box, the third one from the left, it almost looks like the diagram to show you how to put it together when you get it.
Yes, it does.
So that's not a game system. That's just a Lego set.
It's a Lego kit, but there's a crank on the side of the TV.
Yeah.
That you crank, and it makes the TV scroll, and it's Mario, and he actually, the way you hook it up, he actually does the jumping and everything because of the way you put it together.
Oh, God. That's insane.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Whoever came up with this concept is genius level.
And I feel like
that should probably be working on something more important.
Well, I feel like that's something I need to pool resources to, so that could be a project that my niece and I can work on together.
That sounds good.
Even though she can't come over here because she's allergic to the boys.
Ah.
So I'd have to leave it over there and then trust her not to put it, because she would just go ahead and just put it together because she's a genius. But I would have to make it so, like, don't do this unless I'm not here, unless I'm here, and then we work on it together.
Oh, I stopped sharing too soon.
What happened?
I came across another image to be seen.
Okay, go ahead.
Just a moment. With just everything. With the panels and the
how
TV.
Many, does it say how many pieces it is?
I have not seen. Oh, it's 2,646.
Oh, there it is right there on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, and you get almost 1,500 VIP points with it.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing.
But I found it interesting, like you can even see the wheel up here at the top.
Yeah, because you put all of that together. Like that piece that guy's working on, you put that together before you assemble it. Mm-hmm. It literally comes as individual bricks, and you have to do all of that. And it's very daunting when you see it. But as it starts to come together, the sense of accomplishment that you get is
Star Destroyer level.
Oh, God.
Well, think about it. This has less pieces than the Star Destroyer.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
The Star Destroyer is the size of my car.
Oh, no. I'm talking about the 1800, the original Star Destroyer.
Oh, I'm talking about the new one. That's like 3 feet long.
Oh, no, not the Super.
And I don't think I'm exaggerating. I think it's the better part of 3 feet long.
Well, I can take a look. But I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you on that one.
Anything else you guys want to talk about this week? That's all I've got. Anything?
I would love to talk about that story I told you about yesterday.
Brother, I've slept. What's going on?
Captain Tom Moore.
Oh, yes. Actually, save that for tomorrow because I think that ties into the other show better. Because didn't McIntyre send him a belt?
I think Tripp sent him the belt. But
no, Drew did it.
Okay.
Because they're countrymen.
Okay.
So save that for tomorrow. Because I think I got it on the run sheet for tomorrow.
Awesome.
Tomorrow, Cheap Podcast will be on at 3:30 Eastern because it is the horror show at Extreme Rules, the horror show day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I said it wrong. Let me try that again. It is the horror show at Extreme-ish Rules, the horror show day. I forgot a syllable. Oh,
yeah, this one's scary.
We try to be accurate here.
And not scary in a good way. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll be in studio to talk about it.
I feel like we've hit the level that they're just trying to be so bad it's funny.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Slammiversary's tonight. If you're going to watch it, God bless you. Make sure you visit our website when we get it updated, www.theclubhousepodcast.com. Find out everything you need to know and some stuff you don't. We're going to have some new stuff to add up there coming soon. We just haven't decided how we're going to do it yet. Make sure you follow us on social media. Twitter is at Clubhouse Show. Everything else is The Clubhouse Podcast. All 3 words in that order or you will wind up somewhere else. You can follow me on social media if you would like. Everything is Yes That Rob Irvin. That is spelled ERVIN.
I'm Jen Rome Home on Instagram.
I am Vexploit on all social media. Remember, if you'd like to help the show, go to prowrestlingtees.com/thecheappopcast and buy shirts.
Buy shirts, buy shirts, buy shirts.
Like this shirt right here. And on Twitter, I'm at Igbunu, IGBUNUUU. Also, email me, Don at theclubhousepodcast.com.
If you would like us to come do a live show for you at your establishment when the wheels start to get put back on, we're more than happy to do that. Email Don. You can email me questions, comments, concerns. Tell me to go pound sand. I am Rob at theclubhousepodcast.com. Charlotte Parker is on Pinterest because we are morally obligated to say that. She's probably hanging out with Sansa today, just playing in the backyard on a beautiful day. Our respective people that we live with are probably close to where we are because we are where we are. Our normal show every Sunday night, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, is your one-stop shop for all things pop culture right here on the Vocal Now Network, which is one of our favorite places to be. We love being part of the Vocal family. We can't wait for you guys to see what else is coming. We got so much cool stuff we're working on for you just to help bring you some joy in this time of all that negativity. Remember, be the light. Fight the darkness. We love each and every one of you so much for being a part of this show, and we can't wait to talk to you again next Sunday, a week from tomorrow. So just put that on your calendar. So until next time, for Jen Rome, for Alex, for Don, for the Empire, even for Jay, who's not with us today because he doesn't have to do the producing on this job. We also want to send a shout out to Jay Gillespie, host of Big 12 Talk. They got a lot to talk about here soon, so watch that show as well. I'm Rob. Clubhouse is closed, and I don't think Brittany Palmer was at Fight Island.